A 17-year-old Paarl Boys High School student is in intensive care after suffering a free kick head injury during a schoolboy rugby match in Pretoria. His pupil is stable, but he has not yet regained consciousness after 4.5 hours of emergency surgery to stop the cerebral hemorrhage. No fouls were detected after reviewing match footage, but the rugby player hit ground with a heavy blow, which resulted in extensive head damage. A Paarl Boys High School student struggles to survive in intensive care after suffering a strange head injury during a rugby match at the Afrikaanse Hoër Seunskool Rugby Festival on Tuesday. 17-year-old schoolboy Chris Jordaan Junior was hospitalized and promptly operated on after suffering a brain hemorrhage that required 4.5 hours of surgery. According to student's father, veteran Chris Jordaan, 8th player fell to ground under abnormal interception but received a whiplash when his head hit ground hard during Paarl Boys' 26-19 win over Affies. READFormer Springbok rugby coach, Sharks legend Ian McIntosh dies. He was then taken to Muelmed Hospital after being promptly intervened by Paarl Boys High's mobile paramedic team, who rushed to the field. The student is said to be in stable condition, but did not regain consciousness during the broadcast. He had a brain hemorrhage and took a pretty serious blow, said Sean Erasmus, the school's first 15 rugby coach. His condition is stable, but he has not woken up since the incident and we are all very worried. The video doesn't let us see anything that's fouled. We see him carrying the ball and hitting a little bit. It all looks like it was a weird accident. It wasn't a head-to-head contact or anything like that. Our medical team, traveling with the team, immediately rushed to the field to help him. They stabilized him immediately and the ambulance arrived and took him to the hospital as soon as possible. The student's father, who sounds hopeful, Jordaan, told News 24 that his son is well after emergency surgery, but they face a critical 48 hours. The doctor called me this morning about what happened and was very pleased with last night's surgery, said Jordaan. The next 48 hours are crucial because he's in an induced coma, so we just have to pray and hope that everything works out and there's no brain damage or anything like that. That's all we can hope for right now. Now we have to sit back and wait 48 hours and pray for the best. Although struggle was normal in all respects, schoolboy hit ground so hard that doctors described it almost as severe a car crash, according to father. WATCHMarlow shocks Selborne, Grey Bloem crushes Welkom Gim as school's rugby shifts. They watched the video this morning and it was a normal tackle and then he fell to the ground, Jordaan said. But he had a whiplash effect where his head hit the ground. It wasn't funny at all, it was just a bad accident and it was unfortunate that he hit the ground. The doctor said it was very severe. The blow to the head was almost as severe as a car accident. It wasn't just a normal concussion, there was a lot of bleeding in the brain. Rugby safety was high on the agenda following World Rugby's recommendation that member states lower their legal challenge limit from shoulder to mid-chest. The South African Rugby Union, which runs a class-leading BokSmart rugby safety program, is discussing lowering the tackle limit in amateur and school rugby. In April last year, 18-year-old Dale College student Liabona Teyise of a head injury during a first-team match against Port Rex in East London. The incident occurred on evening of school sports festivals across the country, as happened this week before weekend school sports celebrations. Jordaan, still troubled by his son's accident, praised the effectiveness of the medical staff who acted quickly to save his child. We are just waiting and listening to what the doctors have to say, he said. But I was very pleased with the neurosurgeon and another doctor who helped last night. They are extraordinary people. The ambulance took him to Muelmed Hospital in Pretoria, and thankfully the neurosurgeon arrived and decided to operate as soon as possible. They prepared the operating room and performed the operation, which took about 4.5 hours.